Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. We're currently in Group D, and we have 2 rounds concluded, 3 more to go. Tasteless and Todd, the double T's.
The double T's.
The double T's.
That's what they call us, man.
You're such a tease.
This has been such a fantastic day so far. We did have a little bit of that hiccup slowing things down early on with some technical difficulties, but now we're back. We've caught our stride,
yes.
And I think that TVT we just wrapped up was pretty cool.
Yes, it was. I think that Hero Marine could have won that in the end, though, but you know that's not to be. Some moments where Ryung was just able to capitalize on some of the overzealousness of Hero Marine there, Todd.
Yeah, and hopefully Hero Marine doesn't let that loss get too much to his head, like he did win his first series against Elazer, and now he goes up against one of the titans of the group in Classic, by the way, which I'm going to be following. So Hero Marine, the dream's still alive. Big Gabe has yet to make it deeper in the tournament, and I think he might just.
And I'm going to be following Trap versus Ryung over here.
Okay.
I think I'm not alone with saying that Trap should come out on top of this.
In theory, yes.
Ryung surprised us last year. Maybe he's going to do that again this time around.
What I think is that this series is in safe hands, Tasteless.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, for sure in safe hands with me.
Tasteless is going to charter the waters of Trap versus Ryung and lead us to the next promised land. Thank you very much, Tasteless. I appreciate it.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
As you can see, the standings are as so. SOS is currently in the leading position, no doubt, because he is a previous Intel Extreme Masters World Champion. That's what those guys do. As TY was able to advance as well in first place, so not too bad. We are going to be covering, though, Elazer versus SOS here on the main stream. What a match. What a match.
What a match. SOS, easily one of the best players of all time.
Yes.
But Elazer, he is so sick. He's on his home turf, and I've been a fan of him for a while. He is somebody who's been in Korea for some time, training with the very best Koreans and non-Koreans there. And I think he's a very motivated person who could surprise us here, but this is going to be tough, man, because SOS is just so good.
There were moments where he could have probably beaten Classic, I feel, Todd, in the previous series that we saw him in, but he was overextending a little bit with his swarm host play, not quite taking the right engagements, so Elazer just needs to buckle down, I think. It's
always tricky to be in a group with that many Protosses, especially the level that these guys are on, because you need to have so many build orders. I did talk to Elazer earlier, and he mentioned to me that he thinks he's not that worried about that, because he thinks that he has a lot of build orders at his disposal.
Okay.
But he was worried about the skill level of both SOS and Classic, in saying that basically they are incredibly good. He was a lot less worried about Trap, which you want to be careful about. You don't want to underestimate him. He already used the Nidus against Classic, which he won with. Does he bring that build order out again in hoping that maybe SOS didn't notice that? That's going to be a big question. But usually you can expect a lot of aggression out of somebody like Elazer, who I think should be looking to try and set the pace up against an SOS who also is super unpredictable.
Yeah, I think something that made a point of IEM Pyeongchang, and this was actually Artosis that made this point tasteless, was that oftentimes when players would need to practice to play against SOS, they would actually go and play against Classic, who was kind of that closest thing to SOS, because SOS is their own special breed. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
So having SOS and Classic in the same group is actually probably quite a boon to some of these players.
We shouldn't read into that too much, though, because I remember Special tweeted that with the photo, and then he went 0-3 against SOS after, right after tweeting "Maybe you die" and posting that photo of him training with Classic.
I think one of the problems with both Classic and SOS, and I think you could kind of count Hero in this as well, but he's a little bit different with his play style, is that they do things that a lot of times you can't really prep for.
Yes.
Protoss is a race that occasionally you can pull out a trick where it's so hard, you have to be so experienced, and you have to have such good instinct that you're not playing the game that you practiced.
Okay.
And I don't know what else to make of it other than that they're the scariest kind of Protosses that are out there.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to check in with you later, as we will have those guys updating us on all the series that are going on. For now, it's time for Elazer going up against SOS.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters. After a quick TBT, it's time to get back to Zerg versus Protoss as we get our second match underway from Group D. It's going to be the WCS Valencia champion taking on the WCS Global Finals champion. Please welcome on stage Elazer and SOS.
What an exciting match. Poland's own Elazer, one of the greatest non-Korean players, going up against the winningest player in the history of the game, SOS.
He's a two-time world champion, SOS is. He's a madman. He's a guy who creates his own styles and strategies, and he's always an absolute pleasure to watch. Of course, Elazer, the young gun, as I like to call him, he's so experienced now. It's hard to even call him young because he's been training so hard for so long, and it feels like he keeps on improving. You know, it's not necessarily that same huge jump he had a few years ago, but I feel like he's just kind of constantly climbing that staircase of skill and results. Well,
I tell you what, his stability has really increased. You know, that first BlizzCon top 4 he got, it was a surprise, but it is no longer a surprise when he's at the top of a tournament. He can beat anybody, and it is just so nice to see his reaction when he came out of the crowd. You saw that big smile, knowing that it's like, okay, here I am, the hometown team.
He thrives on this environment. It's always so special when you get that rare opportunity as a pro player to play in front of that hometown audience. You know, often your friends and family are out there watching, and it's always where you want to bring your A game. But he's had a little bit of a rough start, unfortunately, today in this group. He is down 0-2, a very narrow loss to Classic, one of the group leaders in his last series, and a surprising, I would say, an upset loss to Hero Marine in the first one.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, Classic is one of the strongest Protoss in the world, but I thought that Elazer should have taken that 2-0.
There was some swarm host action in those games.
That's
you think he's
right.
going to bring that out again?
I do think he's going to bring that out again. You know, we've been watching kind of over his shoulder a little bit yesterday when he was practicing, and he was showing a lot of swarm host games. And I think that this is a style he's trying to practice right now. It can be very good against things like Archons and Immortals and Zealots, which are so popular in the matchup. So yeah, I do think at least one game we should see him try to pull something like that out.
We've got the maps down there at the bottom of the screen: Catalyst, Blackpink, and Acid Plant. So, of course, Blackpink, I believe, was the map where he pulled those out before. Catalyst, a very small map, maybe one where you're not looking to use the Swarm Host as much, but there are some nice angles. So, of course, lots of strategies lie open to these players. And I mean, man, it's SOS's Protoss versus Zerg. You're going to be worried about DTs, Adepts, the whole works. Everything is a possibility when you're facing off against this guy in the top left-hand side. In the red, representing Generic Green Wings, it is SOS.
And his opponent from Poland, make some noise for Elazer! All right, starting off this first game on Catalyst. Look at that SOS. Very quick probe coming down, blocking that hatchery, forcing Elazer to go to his third base with that first hatchery.
Disruption, that's the name of the game there for SOS. He loves to throw a spanner in the works, try and gum everything up for his opponents. And it's within those slight discrepancies in their build orders where he finds his openings. He loves to just throw you out of your element just that little bit, and that is where he will take advantage. Is already running around with his probe, of course, trying to occupy the mining on the mineral patch, as only one worker can mine at a time, and force Elazer's drones to be a little bit less efficient. Just great use of his APM here. SOS, one of our players who's a little bit slower than the other players, but incredibly focused and so smart with what he prioritizes.
Yeah, you know, SOS is seen as, from many, as like the brainiest player, or definitely at least one of them. It's just such a cognitive play out of him, trying to trick his opponent, trying to outthink him, deceive him in any way possible. We'll see if that works against Elazer, though, because I feel like Elazer comes in with strong plans, strong strategies, backed up by a lot of speed and great mechanics.
Yeah, some of the fastest hands in the non-Korean scene. Elazer, always a pleasure to watch whenever I do get a chance to go down into those players' area. He zooms around very, very quickly. And SOS going to be opening up with that Stargate here to start things off. So no doubt going to be some oracles coming on. Of course, the most common aggression we tend to see off this one. There's two paths we see most recently. One is Glaive Adepts. The other one is an Archon drop into a Charge-Lot Archon pressure. Both of them the key choices that Protoss players like to use to keep the Zerg in check, stop them from just droning those 3 bases up really quickly.
Well, you know what I like about the fact that he is making a couple early Adepts, going to go into Oracle, as you say, is he delayed this hatchery, right, that's in the middle. He made him expand further away, so you're going to kind of have to make sure that you have a Spore up there and a Spore in your main, because there's not going to be a lot of Queens to push everything away.
Yep, that creep spread as well. Going to take a while to connect between these bases. It is going to be a Phoenix first. This is SOS trademark move. We do see a lot more Protoss players doing this recently, but he basically loves to shut down his opponent's scouting. We talk about him being a cerebral player, a smart player. Not only does he love to have full information using oracles, using Phoenix, but he loves to deny his opponent's information. It's within that situation where SOS tends to get ahead. He takes options which would often be considered gambles, but his opponent doesn't know about them, and that's why he finds the advantages. So getting rid of that Overlord, his Phoenix will go hunting for any other Overlords on the map. It looks like that might have actually been the only one, so I think Elazer was expecting this and only sent one Overlord across the map. Smart adjustment.
And immediately he throws down a Twilight. He's already got those 3 gates up as well. We'll see if he wants to go into the Glaives upgrade or wants to go into Charge. Both very powerful, as you've been talking about here, Pig. But he finds another Overlord, just scouting, though, for the time being.
Creep starting to spread back towards this natural. The Queen's coming forward to try and push back this Phoenix. Of course, that Phoenix already limiting the vision. The Oracle going to come in towards the 3rd base, looking for some drone kills. We'll grab one. We'll get a 2nd and a 3rd. Oh, even a 4th one going down. A nice start to things for SOS. Heavily bruised on the Oracle, but 4 kills that early, well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally you get about 2 kills with your first Oracle, so 4 being very nice. Glaives on the way. It looks like SOS definitely wants to put on some pressure with these Adepts. Wouldn't be surprised to see him take a 3rd base pretty soon as well.
Yep, SOS known for this sort of follow-up, and it can be very powerful, but Roach Tech is already on the way for Elazer. In that regard, I like his tech choice. The problem is, of course, the worker count. After those couple of workers that went down, Elazer is only on 38 drones. He's got a whole bunch of Queens. This almost looks like he wants to just rush across the map after he shuts down the Adepts. So kind of like let the Adepts come deep in, shut them down with the Roaches, and then do a huge counterattack.
Yeah, that can be a powerful move, but our Roach is like an over-counter to what we're seeing here. It's only 3-gate Adept. He's going into a robotics here. He can get some Immortals out. He has his Oracle to help defend as well.
Oh, Zergling's being a little bit wasteful as well. Definitely a risky situation if he does overbuild those Roaches, Dan, but there we go, Probe almost does go down. Good save from SOS, and Glaives is almost finished. He's ready to go. He wants to commit across this map. Immortals already on the way, and a cute little stasis trap just trying to occupy Elazer. Elazer has caught back up in the workers, but he might be over-droning right now. He doesn't really have many Roaches out, and those Adepts are knocking on the doors.
All right, they're coming up right now. The Shade goes through these units, eliminating quite a few of the Zerglings, but taking a lot of damage on these Adepts. We'll see if he can find some real damage. Shade's into the natural here, targeting down some drones, but not really that much damage.
Yeah, only 4 worker kills, not all that much. Elazer also counterattacking with his Zerglings at the same time. If he can get a cancel on that Nexus, that would be massive. But these last 2 Adepts continuing to find damage, and that's where it stacks up, getting a total of 10 worker kills and defends the 3rd base at home.
Yeah, not too bad, really. And you know what? He's still trying to harass Elazer very quick, though. Doesn't let that stasis get too many drones. He's continuing to make Roaches. In fact, quite a few roaches, but will he be able to get damage done with this based on the Immortals we've seen produced by SOS?
This seems to be the meta we're seeing in this tournament. So many Zerg players opting for this Roach defense. For a while, they were getting free wins with the counterattacks, but with the Immortal production being so early, just as like a blind safety precaution from every single Protoss player, it feels like the Zergs aren't able to find any purchase, and I can't imagine this one being any different. Yeah, the army supply, it looks kind of gross, right? It looks like Elazer's way ahead, but you think about how the Roach interacts with the Immortal. It's a little bit like throwing paper balls at a person in a suit of armor. They just don't do anything against Immortals. So it's a little bit of a massive commitment, and I'm not sure if it's well set up. The Oracle sees everything.
Oh man, and 3 roaches coming up and gonna start harassing this area. I really like this. He's trying to pull the army over to this side, but a force field goes down preemptively, blocking anything from occurring there, and then goes over to clean up the 3 roaches. Nice so far from SOS on defense.
Yeah, very well done. He's just got to make sure these charge lots don't go in ahead of the force. Force fields are okay, don't really trap many units. That is still a large amount of Roach Ravager. The shield batteries aren't quite ready. The Zealots warping into those Immortals, dishing out a massive amount of hurt from the back lines. The shield batteries do go down. The Roaches and Ravagers continuing to push forward. I think this might be a little bit too ambitious from Elazer. It's all or nothing. He's trying to go deep. The Archon goes down, but there's nothing left. The Immortals stand strong in the back line. Elazer's got to get out of there.
Man, I mean, I guess he got a few probes there. He ended up killing off the sentries and some zealots. But the amount of Ravagers he lost, the amount of roaches he made, and how much that slowed down his own economy, I wasn't a huge fan of that attack. I feel like SOS is going to be very comfortable from here.
Yeah, you know, the 4th base only just starting here. If Elazer was up at 75 drones, he had the 4th base gas going, I might be like, you know, maybe this kind of worked out. But keep in mind, 4 Immortals already out. There's a Prism on the way. The upgrades are rolling along way ahead for SOS. And most importantly, he didn't cancel Storm. He's got High Templar already gathering energy. He's got Storm ready. SOS's tech is miles ahead of Elazer's.
Yeah, he even has Oracles still scouting the map. He's kind of marauding around with his Zealots, with his Immortals, seeing if there's any kills to pick up at this point. And, I mean, everything looking nice, but Elazer, he is utilizing his quick speed here. Notice he's throwing up 4 roaches, trying to get a few probe kills.
That's the sort of move he's got to do here. I mean, you're not going to fight this army front on into Immortals and Storm, so just hit from the back line, small numbers of these roaches. That's where we like to see roaches used. But SOS has had enough. I think he might just force the issue on the front.
Yeah, he actually has quite a nice army right here, and with 4 Psy Storms or so, that is really going to do a good job. Oh, a beautiful first Psy Storm going down. Elazer trying to retreat. His Hydral is taking huge amounts of damage here, though.
Oh, that is so much damage. Those storms annihilating Elazer's army, and SOS, man, he's just held on that attack way too well. Elazer not finding the damage he was looking for in this series. And in this game, it feels like he is just fighting desperately for his life. But there is too much Protoss. SOS takes the game 1.
All right. Very well played game by SOS there. Elazer, I mean, he's trying to get his damage in. His defense was pretty good overall, but the Roach counterattack, I feel like that's where he went wrong, Pig.
Absolutely. I mean, you can definitely be critical of small things here or there. You can say maybe he wishes a few less drones died, but we've seen Elazer bounce back from way more than that. The Roaches, though, he committed incredibly hard into that base, and the Immortals, the shield batteries, the force fields, it was such a nice defense from SOS. Beautifully played by him. We're going to hop into game number 2 in a minute, guys, but first of all, let's hear from the boys on the desk.
That's right, welcome back as we join the battle station once again to get updates as to what may be happening in the other matches. We're going to start with Tasteless. It's going to be Trap versus Ryung. What's going on there?
Right now, Ryung is up with a 1-0 lead going into this match. Ryung won with a pretty cool 2-base overall aggressive push.
Okay.
Trap kind of fell apart. Now, Ryung tried kind of the same thing this time around. We're seeing another push come out here. Now, Trap already bullied this push back, but this is
the boys.
Round 2. Here we go. The boys have been pulled. I'm a little bit worried, though. It seems like Trap might have a robust enough army as long as he doesn't overextend.
Does he, though?
Here we go. He's coming down. Now, there's no more sentries over here, so he can't really use force fields. He might just have to try to juggle. But a good attack coming up here from above with this Archon might thin this army out.
Come on, Tasteless, keep hyping it.
Sorry.
It's all
He's going to try to come up here now. And I don't actually know. You know, with expansion here and expansion here, and just like basically a safe location to get here, I don't know.
I think Ryong is committed. He doesn't have a third base. He doesn't have.
Yeah. There's no turning around, I think, in this game. In fact, I think we may be seeing the beginning of the end. He's actually pulling
more boys.
More boys.
It's going to take some serious tasteless kiting.
Down this way.
Nice.
Okay, so we have an attack coming through here. I don't know if this is going to work. I just feel like Trap has so much.
Protoss pulled the boys as well.
And with the probes being pulled, that does buy him a little bit more time, which is nice. I'm just not sure that Trap, if Trap doesn't take out a base, he's going to lose this game.
If Ryong can deal with this army and still have enough left over to finish it, might be able to do it, but reinforcements with chargers keep coming in, and I think Trap's going to have just enough here to equalize the score.
Yeah, I believe we should be seeing this game end unless Ryong really wants to try to drag this game out, which is his right. There it is, GG. And we'll be going into game number 3 if we have time after we get done with this next game that's coming up.
We shall. Thank you very much, Tasteless, for that update. It was a bit more than an update, to be honest. We got more than we bargained for with Mr. Tasteless. We do also have Classic versus Marine. Todd, what's going on there?
Classic went up 1-0, and honestly, that first game was what Terran nightmares are made of. Literally 8 gates with mass adepts killing everything. Now we're in game 2, and there's been a bit of action, but Classic seems to want to go back to the adepts. Might be overextending a little bit here with this attack. Looks like Hero Marine might be able to defend, but yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, Classic again went for a pretty quick third, and I think Hero Marine is gonna try to be aggressive towards that as he opened with the triple barracks and loss of bio.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Todd, for that update as well. That does it for us here. That concludes our update. Captain Log over, and we can head back into Elazer going up against SOS.
All right, thanks, guys. Elazer kind of on the ropes in this group, in this tournament, really. You know, he's down 0-2 so far.
Let's make it or break it.
Yeah, SOS, of course, up at the top of the group. I mean, this guy is a former Katowice champion, a 2-time world champion. It's no shame to lose to him, but it feels like Elazer needs this win to really start his rally to get into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, he's a momentum-focused player. When he gets a good run going in a tournament, I feel like he just plays better and better every single moment. And right now, he's just falling that little bit short. I didn't get to see the first series versus Hero Marine, but, you know, we talked about the Classic series, and how it wasn't quite there. This last game, I felt like it wasn't too bad, but just a little bit missing with the execution there. And, of course, the decision to commit into those Immortals. You know, SOS felt like he just had the number of Elazer, and if there's one guy who's going to predict your builds or your style based off very little scouting information, it's SOS.
Yeah, you're probably right about that one, Pig. SOS, I'm sure, ready for this next map. Really playing like a man on fire this year. The last couple of years, he's had a hard time picking up championships, which is something he just normally does regularly, right? It's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of money on the line, a lot of pressure. All the best players, no problem, I'll win that easy peasy. And he's looking to do that again here, since he has had that harder time for the last couple of years.
It's cool to see him power back up again. There's a lot of SOS fans out there. You know, it's always an action-packed game, StarCraft, but when there's a player who can just go so outside the normal realm of strategies and styles, it's always very exciting. And it's always a challenge to face off against him. We've heard so many times players say, the last player I want to play against is SOS. Yeah. Even if he isn't considered to be the fastest, the most mechanically skilled, or to even be the one who's the most on form, he's always a threat. And he's always so incredibly hard to prepare for. StarCraft is often about getting in your rhythm. It's about kind of getting in your comfort zone and being able to figure out what the strategies and choices are from that position in the game. SOS's whole job, his whole aim in the game is to throw you out of that element. I feel like everything he does is just designed to harass you mentally, and often players just break down when they're facing off against him. For Elazer here, that's his test, keeping it together, staying focused, and keeping his game plan on point.
Well, I'm hoping that he can pull something off here going forward. You know, even something as simple as SOS blocking that hatchery. He got those extra drones with the first Oracle after making the Queens get pulled over to the side. Like, there's so many little tiny things that SOS is attacking you with. He just doesn't leave anything out.
All the pieces come together with this guy. He is, of course, a very frustrating player to play against. That Phoenix denying the information, something I expect to see a lot throughout the series. but he's a man of many talents, many styles. Elazer, on the other hand, of course, is going to be, playing a lot of different styles. We saw him in his past games go into a few different areas and styles. Guys, we are going to have a very quick break. We'll be right back with this series in just a minute.